Y'all, UFOs are all over, but sometimes it's hard to get a good look at what we're seeing in the sky. So here's a compilation of my videos going over some of the clearest UFO footage out there.
Back with another set of clear UFO videos. I love this one because I feel like it's perfectly demonstrating that cube sphere-ish UFO that people have been talking about. I like this one too because it's wild. It is from Peru and they caught it live. Look, everyone's freaking out and pointing at it, and then when they flash their laser, it flashes back. I think it's really cool, and genuinely, I do think it's compelling because it's captured live, and that light is extremely bright. However, I want to be realistic and a bit skeptical here. How much of this was pre-planned for whatever program is running right now, like whatever TV show it is that they're doing in which they're showcasing it? How much of this is pre-planned? Because it looked like they were doing the event before the sighting, and then the sighting became a part of the event. So I like it, but it's clear, it's just a bit questionable. Let me know what you guys think about that one. This, I've decided to add a few of these. This one is from Russia, 2009. I have a couple other from different countries. This is that strange, almost shadowy floating pyramid that has been seen. Look, this one's over the Kremlin. In a few places, the most recent was a sighting or several sightings at the Pentagon. What's strange is I had a video of UFOs in which the Pentagon pyramid-shaped UFO was the last part of the video. I recently saw a comment that part of the video is gone, and when I go into the video, it does look like it has been pulled out. I've reached out for YouTube and haven't really heard back. I don't know what happened there. It's possible maybe my video file was corrupt, but I've never seen that happen with any of my other videos on YouTube, and I've published well over 5,000 videos across 15 channels. So yeah, that's very strange. But look at this. I love that we're getting more detail than the ones in the US. They are still shadowy and partially hidden, but we're getting clearer shots. Like the first one from Russia looked very, very, very sharp. And this one here, you can the one before you saw it peeking through the clouds, where the rest look kind of like this one, where you can kind of see it in the clouds, but it has like a shadowiness to it, like maybe something is casting a shadow from the ground up, where the other ones you could actually see that solid pyramid. So I absolutely loved that. Here we have a little bugger zipping across the sky. I love these. These are, this looks very much like an orb. However, the person is very far. It could be a tic-tac or a different shape. We're just too far to see it. This is an interesting one from Afghanistan. And they are hit by US missiles. They do look like UFOs. The US did strike them. However, you see this, the things kind of coming off of the bottom? I'm not sure. I don't know all of, I'm not a professional in weapons of war, but I'm not sure that these are necessarily UFO as in extraterrestrial and more just unidentified. Look, there goes the missile hitting, because they pop like balloons and they let out things kind of like the Chinese balloon that we popped over Alaska. It kind of looks like it has that same thing going on. What I find strange is after the missiles hit, the solid objects stay in the air. That is the most interesting part of the Afghanistan one. They do look like balloons, except after they're hit by missiles, they freaking stay there. This is a great capture of orbs. I love that this individual took the time to actually change filters and look at it through different lenses. Look at this. This is a tic-tac shape. And you saw the airplane to kind of, a reference point. And this is just an elongated cigar shape. You saw the sun shine on it. That stop right there was very, very strange. I'm glad they called it out. Again, another shout out to Genid or Genid CD, depending on how because their @ is different from their channel name, but they have some really great compilations with music on them, and I grabbed some of these from there. This is a great one from the ISS space station. I love these because, NASA's not going to sit here and fake a UFO. The ISS isn't going to fake a UFO. So I think it's very interesting to see this. I will say some of the official explanations are like debris, or a part of the space station that came off, or a part of another shuttle that maybe was delivering something coming off, and now it's stuck in the Earth's gravitational pull and orbiting alongside the space station. So when people capture this, or when the cameras capture it, it looks like an anomaly, but they claim that oftentimes it is actually a normal occurrence. I decided to keep this one in because while I do feel it is possible, don't get me wrong, it could be a normal occurrence. It could be a piece of equipment. It could be a part of a ship. It could be part of the ISS. It does something strange towards the end of the video. And granted, again, I'm not a ISS expert. I'm not up there. So I'm not sure if it's somehow the ISS lowered slightly, although I doubt it. So it seems that this object actually moves upward and away from the Earth's atmosphere. Almost like it's not pulled into the gravitational force of the Earth, but instead following the route and monitoring the Earth before getting out of the atmosphere. So here towards the end, we're going to see a little more sunlight shining along the bottom. But if you see here, look, it's starting to move up, and it moves up and away from the planet, which is why I kept it here, because I do feel that this one is not debris or a piece of equipment, but actually an unidentified flying object. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Smash that like and subscribe, and I will see all of you next time. Y'all, we're back with some of the clearest UFO sightings caught again, this time starting in Guatemala with an incredible TR-3B capture, or as I like to call them, Trebs. In this one, you actually see the spin, and it reminds me of the TR-3B video we posted last time with the giant ship in the field or highway that went into the trees. That was wild. I like this one again because you can see the spin, and they kept their eye on it a little bit longer. This next one is a video of a fleet of UFOs flying across the moon. You can actually see their shadow on the surface. I'm a bit skeptical about this one because when it reaches the dark side, you see like this white luminous hue in front of the ships. However, the criticism I usually get when I see or post videos like this is that we can't get that zoomed into the moon like on a camera. But that's not true. If you use like a Nikon Z6 II, a Canon R6, a Sony A7 IV, some of the Fujifilm cameras, and even some Panasonic cameras can zoom in this far. Actually, most DSLR cameras can do it as long as you have the right lens. This next one was caught in the US as well. They're claiming it is a pod-shaped UFO. We get a slightly better look at this in just a moment. I found this very interesting, the pod UFO, because I remember a while back a video making rounds on the internet of like a golden orange pod UFO. Actually, let's add that one next to this so we can kind of get a really good comparison. Because that one had a bit of a spin to it, and some people claim they could even see something inside of it. Look, this is the one. This is it right here. This is the pod UFO. It has stabilized. You can see that it's spinning as well. This video is fairly old. I don't remember it being debunked. I actually love this video just because it's such an odd shape. Like, even if someone were to, hypothetically speaking, fake a UFO video, they usually do the flying saucer or the orb, not this weird yet intricate shape that is, one, spinning, and two, then has this like clear front where you can almost kind of see an entity or something inside of it. I don't know. I love this. This is one of my favorite UFO videos. I haven't seen it in years. So thanks, Jen and Ed, for putting it together with this awesome musical compilation, which will be linked below in the description if you want to check that out. Here's another pod UFO. I have a feeling we've seen a lot of pod UFOs in the US, but I don't see those internationally often. So I like this little collection here. This is another interesting one. Look at this. Look at it moving. Look. That one blew my mind, the way that it just shot up into the sky. I like this one. I've seen a few of these. I will say this particular one does remind me of birds in a V formation. I'm not saying that it is, and I'm not saying that it isn't a UFO, but we do see this often with birds. They tend to fly in packs in a V formation, and this is how they would show up in an infrared or night vision. They will glow. They are they have blood. They're animals. This is the ISS UFO fleet above Earth. We've actually seen a lot of videos like this. NASA usually describes them as ice particles or debris. Personally, for this one, I can see it being ice particles. I just wish NASA would provide a little bit more proof or a little bit more oomph. Like, look, this happens all the time, and like go up and then in a controlled environment do it again. But we've yet to see that. This is another one from Hong Kong. I've posted one very similar to this. This one is in Peru. I love these diamond shapes. After this, we'll post the one that I posted before so you can see the comparison. I will say I've seen some comments that this could be the whole of the camera trying to capture all of the light, and because it's too much, it takes the shape of the camera itself. This is the one that we had posted before. That is accurate. That can and does happen. However, the shapes are usually symmetrical, where with something like this, you can see it's asymmetrical. The top it's split by a line. It looks more less rounded than the other piece. This comes from the US Navy. This is another night vision infrared. This one I definitely do believe is UFO as opposed to a flock of birds. When we look at these, you'll notice they are a solid formation. They're not a bunch of dots in a V formation, how that other one was, which I felt was a bird. That looked like an actual ship. This one is also very cool. Look at this. Look at this. It's like this triangle formation. However, it is giving a blink. What I'm more concerned about, which it kind of avoided, are the shadowy triangles that were off to the left. It was focusing on the blinking one. I felt that the shadowy triangles were more anomalous, if you will. This is freaking awesome. I love that it was on the news. I love that it was a mass sighting. I love that it's a little bit older because we didn't necessarily have the type of technology we have now to fake things. So I do genuinely love this UFO. Look at this thing. They're dancing around each other, moving around each other. They don't seem to have a rhyme or reason. It's freaking awesome. And if you notice, even as they move around and dance around, they're kind of keeping that triangular formation. Here's another great night vision infrared one. Again, it could be a UFO. However, it could be a detachment from that rocket that is on the right. It could be a piece that broke off, and now we're just seeing it, and it looks a little bit like a UFO. I've seen this a few times before from China. It has been debunked as an illusion caused by the city lights in a foggy or clouded sky. This one's fantastic. It was really fast. Look at it slow down. Look at it zip by. Zoom. That thing is fast. That is a fast moving object. Definitely a UFO. I've mentioned these before. You guys already know I love UFOs flying into volcanoes because we don't really have things that can go into lava and then come out, right? That's absurd. That in itself is anomalous behavior. And these things, the way that they turn, the sharp turns that they make to touch these volcanoes or to get into the volcanoes, or even the speed at which they come out, is insane and anomalous. I love it. These few videos here are clear UFO videos. We're getting it posted by TMZ and other news sources. I do like them because we do have clarity to these videos. However, I've packed these videos together for a reason. They are cool. Could they be UFOs? Sure. Are they more likely spotlights for an event that you are unaware of? Yes, that is what I feel is most likely what is going on here. There are some cities, some states, some places, some countries that will hold events, and they're not for everyone. There's a specific group of people there, but they'll use these little lights and spotlights as a celebration or to kind of call attention to it. And I feel that while some of these may be UFOs, a lot of these could just be spotlights for events that you're not aware of. Still love them. I love how clear they are. People are out there recording. I love that it means that people are taking into consideration that there could be something anomalous and taking the time to record it. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash that like and subscribe. More UFO videos coming, more gaming videos, more all types of videos. I hope you all enjoy. See you next time. We're back with some insane UFO sightings of 2023. Check out this Treb just zipping over Mexico like it's nobody's business. I'm definitely a believer in that these Trebs are our version of these crafts. This is what happens when we reverse engineer the crashed or retrieved objects and anomalies. This one blows my mind. They're actually laughing and snickering because they had just taken a laser pointer and pointed it at the UFO, and it literally shined a laser back at them, which I don't know if that's good or bad. But it definitely makes for a credible video.
El rebote. La chayo alumbra para allá.
This is a great capture for me because what the heck is this thing doing?
A freestanding camera. It's like taking flash pictures. Here's an airplane about to go over it.
And I definitely agree with her. It looks like it's taking pictures. Like the way that it's flashing, it kind of made me think it was a drone. But the way that it's sitting there perfectly still and the brightness of this flashing light, it's compelling to say the least.
That is so weird. It's like in the cloud.
Because, I mean, really think about it. Even if it is something explainable, like let's say that it is a drone. What the hell is this drone doing? Why is it flashing like that? Now, this next beauty here was shot in Ontario, Canada, and I love this video. It is another video that shows that these objects or crafts have like a force field or a light field around them. Like you can see that the center object kind of has this pulsating glow around it before the other lights or whatever they are, you know, come on and shine around.
What is that? Look at the lights all around it.
I love his reaction, but really look at the lights. You can see it is a triangular shaped craft. This one is, again, I think one of our own because you could hear the propulsion, but again, what is it doing?
What the
fuck? Oh my god! What the fuck?
This is another one of my favorites, not just because the kid's freaking out, but look at this. It looks like raw energy. Like, what did they capture here? When they zoom in, it looks like the surface of the sun. It's stunning and magnificent. And even zoomed out, you can see its vibrance and its potency. Wild. I love it. And it's, again, this diamond shape pyramid, you know. What are these things? I feel like this could be another interdimensional craft as opposed to just a spacecraft.
Tata. My kids. What is it, Tata?
This was such a great capture in my opinion, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think this one is in the comments. I'm so blown away by it. This one was actually shot from an airplane, and the person recording called it a shape-shifting UFO. But I'm going to throw my multi-dimensional object out here again, because look at this. What if it is an extra-dimensional object and we're just seeing the three-dimensional cross-sections of it because of how we perceive life? It almost looks like an angel. This ominous triangle in the sky was actually shot in Shanghai, China. This is one of about 4 or 5 videos of it. As he looks in the cloud, you'll see that dark triangular shadow moving across the sky. These videos keep getting uploaded to Bilibili and a bunch of other places in China, and they keep getting removed. I've even seen some removed from YouTube, so I am a little worried, but it definitely adds some credence to this video. And that triangle shape is genuinely very, very creepy. Let me know what you guys think. There's definitely something very ominous going on up there, and it doesn't help that the Chinese government is so strict that we may never get real answers about this. This next sighting was shot in Santiago, Chile, and I found it very compelling, not just because you can obviously they're physically there as they get kind of hidden behind the lines, the wires of the telephone lines, if you will, but also I find it so interesting that while they look like they're holding still, if you actually keep watching, you'll see that they do move. They just have these very precise and deliberate movements, which make them so interesting, and they even freak out the people recording. Check it out.
Y se estaban moviendo recién. ¿Se están moviendo? Sí, mira, van subiendo. Ya. Oh.
The movement was quick and subtle, but the speed was immense. And what is stranger and cooler to me is the uniformity. Like, they did not break formation at all while moving. They're moving now. And look, there they go. It's just such a strange event. Almost like obviously they're connected. Maybe it's just one giant ship, but what could that ship be doing? Or if it's several, what are they doing?
Se aleja mucho.
The thing I hate about these videos that get moved across the entire internet all day, every day, is the level of compression once you actually start doing research or looking into them. I wish that for this one I had the raw file, because I don't believe that this is it. Still, it makes me wonder what these could be and what they could possibly be doing. I mean, they are just points of light, so we could go back into that extra dimensional idea where maybe we're just seeing one aspect of a bigger craft or bigger entity. This one is not only a mass sighting, but the way they freak out when it disappears is great. They were definitely not expecting that. My skeptical side does still think it could have been a spotlight though. What do you think? This black polygonal shaped UFO was shot over the Netherlands, and in my opinion it's very eerie. I added it because they used a really good camera, so they got a great zoom in and you can see some detail in the shape of this UFO. It kind of reminds me of the Black Knight satellite, like everything that we hear and have seen about it. It kind of looks like this. Regardless, I find this to be a very eerie and ominous UFO sighting. It doesn't make me feel like it's a friendly sighting, if you will. Like, just look how it sits there and hovers. It's actually very creepy in my opinion.
I don't know, it just makes me feel uneasy. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Smash like and subscribe. See you next time.
Y'all, we're back with some of the clearest UFO sightings ever, starting with one in Colombia. Now, I love this video because it's filmed by a pilot in a cockpit, and I feel that they are less likely to fake it or even want to fake this, as it's more for safety regulations for them to fly. And in this video, you can see what looks like a sphere or even a cube within a sphere, because it did seem to have points. This fighter jet video is from the USA, and it appears to be a tic-tac zipping over the water. I mean, this thing is going fast, and air resistance means nothing to it. I love this video. Here we have another laser pointer video, and I like these because we get to see the subject in the sky trying to avoid the laser pointer. However, I have pointed out and seen that these could be bats. They have been before, just trying to avoid the laser so they can stay on their flight path, which I respect. I love this. Now, this is definitely, you can tell it's metallic. It's definitely tic-tac shape. Look how it changes direction. It looks like a metal pipe. And look how fast it actually went. Vroom. That's how fast it went. That is wild. Here in Italy, we have this strange light in the sky. Now, it's making some weird motions as the camera moves, but when he zooms in, you'll see that it actually opens, almost like a portal, if you will. Look at this. And then it closes back up. That is wild. And I haven't seen like a ring portal this clear from someone's phone, meaning we do have the capability to capture it, okay? But I love it. Look at that. And you can see how when it closes, like the energy almost like snaps together like a rubber band and kind of wobbles a little bit. Insane. Here's another clear UFO video, this one coming from England. Now, a lot of these UAP UFOs, I definitely feel that they are interstellar or interdimensional travelers. However, I do feel that some of these instruments could possibly be probes. Like the one that we just saw in England, it kind of looks like this one in the USA, right? Do you see how it's like a metal tube or a metal pipe? This one too in Spain. These could be probes. Maybe they're testing the air. Maybe they have cameras in. I mean, we don't know. They're, if they are extraterrestrials or interdimensional, they're much more advanced than us, and they're way above what we're going to be thinking about. But this does not look like a transportation vehicle to me. Granted, I'm not an alien, so I don't know how I would travel, but that looks more like a pod that's doing research. This is cool. We can see a lot of UFOs and UAPs flying to and from volcanoes and mountains. I love that we got to see this one coming from the sky and then do that sharp turn. Look at it leave. That is a UAP UFO. That was anomalous. This was captured in the USA. It's apparently 2 fighter jets chasing an orb. Now, I've seen a lot of these turn out to be fake, but this looks more like a happenstance video, like didn't necessarily mean to record. In this one in the US, we can actually see a chemtrail zipping upward and a dark object, kind of looks like it has 4 sides, dropping from the sky. It could have been a drone, but I love how this dude sees the guy standing where it was. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to close my window. I'm out of here. Here we have another supposed video of fighter jets chasing an orb. I like these. Again, we've seen some fake ones, but I like them because if they are legit, then we have some really clear footage. This is one of the most famous UFO sightings. This is the UFO sighting in Turkey, where the UFO got so close and the person was able to get their camcorder, not just record the object itself, but record an opening in the object from which we can see, apparently, the beings that are driving this vehicle. And if you see, like we can see here in their image, it's a little blurry, but they do resemble closely the Greys and these aliens that we are used to. So I find that to be very, very fascinating, and it is yet to be debunked. Here we have one from Jeremy Corbell. He is checking. Look at all these things popping up on the radar. I'm sorry, if I were flying and all of a sudden all these little objects pop, I would be freaking out. This one in Norway, I'm a little more skeptical about. It is definitely interesting. We see the light in the background and then it starts moving. However, it is blinking, kind of like how our stuff blinks. And the way that it moves isn't necessarily even though it was stationary then moved, it wasn't necessarily anomalous. This could have been a drone for a news station, just checking something out, and then just dipping away. Again, I love these plane shots, right? This one I looked into a little bit. I try to zoom in and find artifacts because a lot of the plane shots are false, right? But here you can actually see as he tries to zoom in, the light distorts because it's a real light in the sky. So as he zooms in, it's his aperture and the exposure on his phone literally cannot handle this light. So what is this super bright light? It almost looked like a star in the middle of the air as he's flying wherever the hell he's going to. I think this is a really good one. Very, it had a blur to it, but we saw the light clearly in the beginning, which I really enjoyed. And I like that he zoomed in and it gave us that feel of realism. Now this one is on the news. It could be a tic-tac. Simply because, look, when we zoom in here, this is a news camera. If it were a plane, we would normally be able to see wings from this distance. It would also have like a flatter underbelly to it, which it didn't. I feel like that was a tic-tac. The news just happened to catch it. This we've all seen. This is that clear UFO UAP video that's been going around everywhere. Look at that thing. It almost looks like a slug as opposed to a flying saucer, if you will. Don't you see that? Do you guys not see a slug? Or am I crazy? I love this USA night vision one. This is another real clear one. Not necessarily the clear object, but if we see this thing moving here, watch it stop. Here is a complete shift and change in direction. It just turned to the right. Our aircrafts cannot do that. That change in direction is insane. That was definitely a UAP, and that was in space. Like they were stargazing and using their telescope to record the night sky and do a time lapse. So I think that is fantastic and fascinating. This is also wild. It reminds me of that first tube tic-tac we saw that did the sharp turn. Blows my mind. Here is the U.S. Navy gimbal, but without all of the data and actually just the image of what you would be seeing with your eyes while you were in the air. This is also, it's stunning. You can see the clouds moving and everything. The wind resistance does nothing to this thing. Here it does the tilt that we saw in the video. Look at it. Rotating on its axis. Wild. These UFOs and UAPs are here. And y'all, this isn't even all of the Clearest videos. We have more to come. So I'm really excited for this little clear video series that I'm doing. Make sure that you like and subscribe. If you love UFO videos, ring the bell. But remember, this is a variety channel, so it's not only UFO videos. So keep that in mind when you ring that bell. This is another fascinating one. I love that it's actually giving us what we see with the radar. But then look, without the infrared, there's nothing in the sky. What the hell is going on? Smash that like and I'll see you next time.